Hello again, everyone. Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome back to the Sunless Sea. Now, I've been doing a little bit of thinking with some of the information we've recently acquired, and I don't know why I came all the way up here to Guider's Morn. I don't think Guider's Morn actually sells, or buys, rather, supplies at any interesting cost. I think it's actually the Iron Republic that does. I think they're the ones that buys supplies for extremely high prices, which means I went in exactly the wrong direction, but I think I know what a good trade route would be, because Guider's Morn doesn't buy sunlight either. I don't know why I thought they did. It's the Isle of Cats that buys sunlight. It's Khan's Shadow, where you can buy mirror catch boxes to replace the old ones. So a good route, potentially, would be to go from the Cumaean Canal, or rather, from the Iron Republic to acquire the fuel, to the Cumaean Canal, head up to the surface, get ourselves supplies and sunlight, or just sunlight if we don't want to risk losing people, head back down, head to the Iron Republic to refill our fuel. With the fuel that we get, sail out to the Isle of Cats, sell our sunlight, buy new mirror catch boxes, and then sail back and do it again. Just heading back and forth in there, we can get the supplies, the fuel, the sunlight, and the boxes back, and that should be enough to get us a ton of resources. It'll be a little bit tricky to get going, though, so maybe not the best plan right now, but I'm thinking it makes sense in the long run here. What we're going to do right now is we're going to try and make it back to Fallen London before we run out of fuel, because we are a little bit low right now. A little bit low indeed. We have a good number of supplies, so we should be able to convert some if we need to. But, yeah, we're not in a fantastic situation as far as funds go. We'll see how this works. If we can make it back to Fallen London, we should be fine, but that is potentially a fairly large if, as we are burning through fuel at a pretty quick rate here. I think, though, that that's actually an incredibly valuable trade route. In theory, you could go the Aestival route as well, but the problem with Aestival is it hurts you to acquire the sunlight, where it doesn't seem to hurt you if you go the other way and use the surface. It costs you an enormous amount of fuel, but fuel is relatively cheap right down below. It's 1 cheaper than it is, or 2 cheaper than it is back in London. So it seems pretty logical to me to try and do that kind of trade route. We may experiment with that soon. For now, though, we're trying to get back home so we can deal with our errors in strategic planning. We may have wasted a bunch of supplies, or at least resources, acquiring these supplies, but on the plus side, they probably sell for 5 back here in London, so we should be able to recoup our losses pretty nicely, or at least evenly. Even if it doesn't cause any direct gain. I think the only problem with our elaborate plan of going to Vienna every time is that I think it just kills your crew every time you do it. So, while you could use that money immediately to pay for the fuel you need to go back, I'm not sure how wise it is, but I think that seems like a really good way to get money, so we might do that a little bit here, once we can figure out what else is going on. We collect messages from the Harbor Master. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for us? We have another free evening. The Alarming Scholar has invited us to call on them at the university. Something changed in the Neath, and someone wants to sign on. Okay. Well, let's see what the Alarming Scholar wants. Oh, a little present from the Scholar. You've been so helpful. I wanted to give you something for your next voyage. I bottled it myself. Did you? What is this? 2 supplies. It smells pickled, chemical, salty. Once it might have been eel flesh, but the Scholar assures us that it has vital and nutritional virtues. Save it for an emergency, perhaps. Well, interesting. We have more intriguing snippets to trade, though. We'll do that. There you go. That gets us another 50 echoes for our trouble. Interesting indeed that we can get that kind of assistance from the Scholar. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We're going to quickly drop off our port reports here. There's going to be nothing particularly new here, since we weren't able to grab any port reports from the surface, but we can get a little bit of extra fuel. There's a fuel, and some extra echoes. Nothing exceptional, but we'll take what we can get. The Cumaean Canal gives us only 5 echoes. Iron Republic is another one that just sort of disappears. But we get another fuel and some echoes for it, and that's good enough. The echoes are the important thing. It'll allow us to refill on fuel and make our way back out into the Z once again. As it stands, though, we're not in fantastic financial shape. Our engine will help us out quite a bit, but until we can really put it to use, we might have a bit of a hard time here. Our cargo is almost completely full with supplies. Well, let's see here. If we sell... we can't buy Scintillec here. That's right. We can only sell it. It's looking like our little frozen friend might not survive this whole encounter. The challenge of trying to acquire 3 Scintillec out of nowhere might just be a little too much for us to manage easily. Yeah, these sell for 5 here. So unfortunately our supply purchasing was not fantastic. We could sell them elsewhere, but... while I thought it was particularly clever, it is simply a good deal. It's not a great way to make a ton of money. The way to make the money is the sunlight. Easy access to non-harmful sunlight seems like a very good thing indeed. While we're here, though, and while we have extra supplies, let's do a little bit of talking with our crew. We have a particular interest here, the Scarred Sister. Let's speak to you. I want you to tell me about what happened at Hunter's Keep. What do you have to say? An abandoned meal. You broached the subject halfway through the cook's starter. Without a word. The cook? The cook? I guess not her. Without a word, she pushes her plate away, stands, and leaves. We've gained a terror, and we've lost our food anyway. Interesting. Well, let's talk to her about storms, then. She picks at her food. I used to sit in my turret and listen to the wind, she tells us. I wondered why we had wind down here, you know. There's an account in a journal. She bends her head and stabs at her plate. Perhaps she's thinking of her books, burnt with Hunter's Keep. Well, she has nothing to tell us, then. Interesting. I was hoping she might be more communicative, but it looks as though that is not to be the case. If we speak to the irrepressible cannoneer, he has nothing to do for us but to increase our iron. What about our other officers? What about our campaigner here? To invite her to dine, we need muter salt, and we have none at the moment. Okay, that's not an option just yet. What about the sigil-ridden navigator? Captain! Captain! My sleep is riddled with dreams, Captain. Dreams of bells and candles. He paces the deck. I see a lonely house lit by tallow and wick. A bell is ringing. It rings now. Do you hear it? Indeed, he wants to go to the Chapel of Lights. I think we learned this already. Yeah, it's higher than 10. So, we already knew about that. Where's the bandaged poissonnier want? Ah, yes, we need muter salt and a strange catch to speak with him. He will cook for us. Anybody else? Anybody we can actually gain information from? Presbyterian Adventurist, do you have anything to tell us? Yes, I have no dark drop coffee beans, and the odds of me winning the arm wrestle is quite low. Might be a painful investigation. Anybody else? The determined doctor. Dine with the determined doctor. He'll bring the wine. Let's chat. Our sorbet melts untouched. And no, they are not restless elements. He slams his hand down on the table. Do you not see, Captain? Every year, the bazaar, she devours us from within. The rich dream honey dreams, of the poor shovel lacquer with their bare hands in the streets, just to earn a few echoes to buy food. And above it all, the masters and the... He never does get around to answering our actual question, of course, whether he enjoyed his main course. Alright, so I think he's done. I think we've already upgraded him. You can tell I haven't played this game in a little while. I can't remember exactly who we've done things with yet. Okay, well then, we're gonna go get rid of our sunlight-filled mirror catch box, I think, because while they're useful, we don't want to get stuck here. We do have these candles and flares and things we could clear out of our inventory as well, though. They are useful, and they were expensive, but I have a feeling it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to keep holding on to them. As nice as it would be to have all these valuables on hand, we kind of need the space right now. These are worth nothing to sell, though, these flares. I guess we'll keep one, and we'll deal with it as we go. So if we were to sell our Foxfire candles, we can always buy more later if we decide we need them. And that'll give me 2 more cargo space for fuel. A little bit more cargo space for fuel would be ideal, though. What else do I have in my hold I could easily sell? The Devil Bone Dice. I don't know if I really want to sell these, though. I already sold my Scintillac, and I already kind of regret that. It's going to be very difficult to acquire more off the top of my head here. Well, I guess we'll just sell a bit of our supplies and make do with the fuel from the rest. So, no profit made here in the end after all, but on the plus side, we do have a lot of food. Because if the plan here is to head out and sell our mirror catch boxes, we should be able to make a good amount of profit this way, so maybe it'll be worthwhile in the end anyway. I'm afraid the odds are very much against our frozen friend, Boreas, but we'll make our way towards the Isle of Cats and see what happens. It'll be a bit of a journey, though. This does seem like a very nice way to get rich quickly. Or, at the very least, to get rich at all. Although, hang on a second. I forgot an important step back in London, which is unfortunate because I've already wasted some food and some fuel. But we have an access to a free friend who wishes to join our crew, and I forgot to take them up on it. It'd be foolish of us to not take advantage of that when we already have just lost a crew member. And so we dock, check London, and find our new recruit. Who awaits our attention now? Ah, we can engage the Genial Magician. Absolutely. I'd love to hire a Zailor for 5 echoes, but the Genial Magician is a new officer we haven't had a chance to hire yet. Let's see what you want. Welcome aboard. It cost us 50 echoes, which puts us quite low on funds, but we have the Genial Magician now, which could be most intriguing. Beyond that, we can also read the morning papers to acquire local news, which we hadn't done. Wait. Oh, we gained a free supply, so we're now 1 supply too many. There we go. You can have it back. We've lost a terror, but we have gained a recent news. Okay. We have nowhere near the cargo space for this. I'd love to see what this does, but for now it's not a good opportunity to us. The other option we could do here is hire another crew for 30 echoes, but that is all of our money, and we may need a little bit of it to make our way through here. Let's see what our officer needs. Our new chief engineer increases us by 6 veils and 3 mirrors, but costs us a heart, so our tireless mechanic is just better. Fuel efficiency seems like a really good thing. But let's see what he wants to talk about. He's a good engineer, despite missing that hand, but Zailors fall silent when he passes. We can ask how a magician came to be an engineer. We can ask bluntly about his hook as well. We can dispel the darkness. He mentioned before that he was in theater. Could he arrange a diversion to improve morale? His eyes are opaque. Yes, he acknowledges, but I will require some very particular materials. Don't ask why. Okay, a live specimen, an outlandish artifact, 2 bales of parabola linen, and 5 firkins of prisoner's honey. And he has to be our viceroy. I don't know if I like that. He'll increase our veils. We can ask him if he has a use for the mirror catch box full of very angry dream snakes, but I kind of want this for now. Who knows what's going on here? I think these are for our Viric quality, so I don't know if I want to get rid of those yet. Let's ask how a magician came to be an engineer. He gestures carefully with his hook. It makes card tricks difficult. But we know about mechanisms, we magicians. My specialty was mirrors, but there are principles in common. It was a good start, and I found that I needed to go to sea. Why? Because, Captain, someone owes me a hand. Once a friend, now an enemy. I am looking for a weapon to use against them. If, once we find it, I may have a favor to ask you. Find a serpent image to continue the genial magician's story. They can often be found in Irem and rarely in Venderbite and other places. Okay, interesting. We'll have to head up to Irem or Venderbite at some point soon and see if we can't continue that story. But for now, we have places to go. We've spent enough time here. We need to head out to Z so that we can acquire our currency. It's too bad that we only have 2 mirror catch boxes, and the more things we pick up, the harder it's going to be to make it to the surface, because we'll need to have 22 fuel to get up there. So it is, though. We'll just have to deal with it. For now, we sail out. It is a long way away, but hopefully we'll be able to make good on our journey there. Pass by these unassuming locations. It feels odd to me to sail without the lamplight lit, but perhaps it's wise. The fuel savings, at least, should make things a little bit more reasonable. It's already noticeable. We'll stop in at Station 3 since we're here. We have the ability to ask interesting questions now of the person of our contact, the Acolyte here. So maybe she'll have something intriguing to tell us on our journey. Well, we can observe the latest autopsies as well. Are there any other questions we want to ask the Acolyte? Let's observe the autopsies. This is a new option. Oh, we don't have something awaits us, apparently. So we can't do any of those. We can, however... Oh, I see. Depending on the quality of something awaits us. We can investigate the autopsy of a young man. He lived just long enough to grow a mustache. Bibles bound in crocodile leather, sings the Acolyte as she works. Not quite up to her usual form, you think. The sphere is small and perfectly round, and has grown inside one of the chambers of the young man's heart. Poisoned his older brother, the Acolyte explains after, when he was very young. Everyone accepted it was an accident, but he wasn't quite sure it was. We've gained a tale of terror, we've gained a fragment, and we've gained more of the Acolyte's favor. Interesting. For now, we set sail again. Actually, we should get a... Oh no, we can't get a report here. Okay. We set sail again, then. Probably going to hit up Shepherd's Isles and Pigmote Isle again on the way down to the Isle of Cats, since it is a very convenient location to drop by. The fact that we can stay in the light here makes things a little bit nicer too, but we're actually faster than the lighthouse turns now. What a difference a little bit of an engine upgrade makes. I'm not sure if I plan on making multiple runs up to the surface, but it seems like that's the way to make a huge amount of money, so we might just do it for the riches that we haven't been able to acquire other ways. There's a lot of other stories we haven't experienced yet, so what I might do is I might do a little bit of trading off camera, but we'll probably do a little bit of other things first. Compile ourselves a port report here in the Shepherd's Isles. A lot of shenanigans, if you ask me, but that's fine. Not all information needs to be utterly true. And down we go. But yes, it seems to me that that would be a good way to make a little bit of money, but until we can afford to upgrade our ship to have a bigger cargo hold, it'll be hard to make any significant amount of money because we don't have the space to do a lot of the actual trading we'd otherwise be able to do. That does seem to be a pretty good way to make some cash, though. Oh, bigger crabs. Well, thankfully we have our lights off, so they have no idea we're here. Lick-a-monkey crag. We're actually a little bit faster than them now, too. They might intercept us here since we're getting quite close. This western angler crab is significantly stronger than the small fry that we fight normally. And we're just fast enough to stay out of its way. There we go. Not a problem at all. Zipping away at high speed there. Right over to Pig Motile. What do you have for us, Pig Motile?
Hairless advisor, you returned to us. Praise the tide. We need your wisdom once again.
Let's see what they have for us this time. Pig Motile approaches another crossroads. A guilty rodent stands, his head bowed. The aide pushes him forward.
Hairless advisor, this traitor stole food from our stores. To feed a sick child, he claims. Do we show mercy or make an example of the wretch?
Well, we can advocate mercy. His actions were understandable, if unfortunate. We can insist an example be made of him. A new nation cannot afford to set such a precedent. Or we can say no half measures. Insist the wretch be hung, drawn, quartered, and the pieces impaled on spikes as a warning to all, and his family, too. That's a fairly horrible one. I would advocate mercy here, but the problem is our military strength is dropping worryingly, and I'm not sure how to increase their might. I'm going to advocate mercy because I feel that's the right action to do, but I have a feeling that we're going to be dangerously weak here. Yeah, civilization has gone down by 1, but spirit has gone up. The guilty rodent is released back to his family, all weaking with relief. Few claim justice has not been done. But it is not the last such theft, and with each one it becomes harder for the Meridians to tell where the line between clemency and weakness is drawn. Yes, I had a feeling that would be a problem. We'll deal with it, though. We'll deal with it. We can only do so much. Make ourselves a porter port quickly. We could attempt to rob the island and steal the Rat Star after all, but it would not go particularly well. The odds are low for us. Not go particularly well for us at all. Let us set sail again and keep going on this journey. Hopefully, things will be a little bit smoother for us here. The Nephrite Quarter. I don't believe we have the Nephrite ring we need yet to do trade with the Khan's Heart, unfortunately. Hopefully at some point. For now, though, we'll just keep sailing. It's a long journey just to acquire simple things here. Perhaps we'll stop in, however, in the top. If we could acquire those kinds of trade agreements from the Timon, that would be quite useful to us. Khan's Glory, here we are. What information do you need for us to be able to trade with you? Let's see. We could offer a gift to the leopard, but we don't have anywhere near enough dark drop coffee beans. We do have more drowning pearls to offer gifts to the Timon. We could ask the Timon to intercede with the leopard for us, but we need more of the Timon's mercy, which I believe will cost us more of this again. We can petition for access to the Nephrite Quarter if we have more of the leopard's condescension. It seems as though coffee is the way to do it, but drowning pearls aren't really for anything else. Let's offer a gift to the Timon. We now have one of the Timon's Mercy, and we've lost some of our Drowning Pearls. And I think we can just keep doing this. Now we have 2. And 3. So many Drowning Pearls. And 4. With 4, we can ask the Timon to intercede with the Leopard. We've gained 2 favors. Leopard's Condescension. There you go. A masked functionary hears our request in the Great Chamber.
We will consider the matter,
is all she says. With that done, we could petition... Oh, we need 1 more. Alright. Let's spend the rest of our Drowning Pearls to acquire said information. It's an expensive way of doing things, trading our Drowning Pearls. But perhaps it'll prove to be worthwhile. Ask our Timon contacts to intercede with the Leopard. There we go, now we have 6. It cost a lot of those pearls, but we can access the Nephrite Quarter, perhaps. Aha! A grand ceremony. The effusive official is today attended by 3 servants and a blue priest, each carrying a candle of a different color. He speaks a formula, in Kaganian, in Greek, and in one of the languages of the Elder Continent. You are anointed with oils and presented with a pair of sharkskin gloves. The blue priest admits you to a slightly less debased echelon of foreignness and blesses you in the name of the deep blue heaven. After that, you start filling in forms. We now have a Nephrite ring. We can trade in the Connaught. Finally. After all this time. Well then, let's head down and see what we can do with our newfound trade access. It's possible there'll be nothing phenomenal new, but we're here, so we may as well check it out. What is there here in the Khan's heart today? We're also very close to the Isle of Cats, where we'll be able to acquire our, rather sell off our sunlight, hopefully without losing all of our mirror catch boxes. But we'll see. We will see. Here we dock at the Khan's heart. Well then. Interesting. We could take some time in the tea house. We could hire some crew. We could enter the Nephrite Quarter. We have the token that permits us enter. Let's take a look and see what they have. We could try and gather a port report here, but I'm not interested in becoming their enemy now that I've just become their friend. Let's take a look. We have 8. Oh, Kaganian suspicion is high. Now we can visit the Shops tab, the Licensed Exchange, and Red Stallion Publishing. Aha! This is where romantic literature is acquired. Interesting that Dread Surmises appear in here for nothing. But romantic literature can be purchased. Contraband indeed. In the Licensed Exchange, you can sell Mutersalt for 56 echoes, a Royal Blue Feather for 2. I don't know where those come from. Serene Aquariums can be sold as well. Interesting. Fuel is expensive here at 15 echoes apiece. Supplies are expensive as well at 25. Foxfire candles at 30. Cheaper than otherwhere, where they're at 40. Dark Drop coffee beans are here for 40 as well. Not a phenomenally good price, but they are purchasable. Spider Silk is at 50, and empty mirror catch boxes at 250 echoes. Good to see. Okay, so there's a number of interesting things we can buy here if need takes us. I think the key items here are the Foxfire candles and beans, but the mirror catch box is a nice option as well. Good to know. Well, we finally gained access to the shops here after an enormous amount of drowning pearls have been spent. Incidentally, I don't think they do a whole lot else, so it's no great loss. But now we sail onwards, and we hope to cash in on our sunlight. A little bit of a roundabout journey today, but I believe we've discovered a more efficient way to make our funds. And if this works out, this could be a very profitable route indeed. Something I may run a couple times on my own time. Enemies like this in the way could be a problem, though. We're close, but we don't want to get too close. They're going to notice us in here. Yes, they are. Leave me alone, friend. You have no interest in chasing me down, Connet. I have permission to trade here. Good. We're fine. Off to Port Cavendish on the Isle of Cats. We could attempt to fight them, but with only 75 hull on this unfortunate ship, I have a feeling it wouldn't go so well at all. Let's drop in at Port Cavendish and see if our journey was worthwhile. Only cost us a small amount of fuel to drive here, and a small amount of supplies. If we stop in at Port Cavendish, we can sell sunlight. What do you know? We'll compile a port report while we're here. Roses and kings. We've seen this before, though. What is the risk here? 25% chance. Okay, so it looks like we can sell them, but I think the chance here is that we don't get the box back. Let's experiment. Sell sunlight, the most dangerous of pleasures. Here in Port Cavendish, there's an appetite for dangerous pleasures. But will we be able to negotiate with the sippers of sunlight? Yes. In back rooms and cellars and tangles behind warehouses, you make careful arrangements. The deal is only to take place at second hand. Your intermediary will meet with theirs. Unfortunately, their intermediary palms off yours with an empty crate, not the original mirror catch box. You're 500 echoes richer, but you'll need another box if you're to do this run again. Okay, well, that's not terrible, because we filled the box for free, and they gave us double the cost of the box in return, so that's not awful. If we do it again, do we get the same result? Yes, we do. Well, we've just gained 1,000 echoes. That is a pretty good rate of return. It's a 500 echo gain, I guess, effectively, because we have to buy back the boxes. And we can't buy them back here. But we have enough fuel to make the trip back home. And if now we head back to the port we just left, we should be able to reacquire some valuable things quite quickly. We could potentially buy 3 of them. If we bought 3 mirror catch boxes... Oh no, Snowchild is melting. I'm sorry, Snowchild. There's no way for me to help you right now. It's not really reasonable for us to acquire Scintillac when we have no money. And apparently that's the only way to help you. The Snowchild is melting. Boreas now leaves small pools where it walks. The crew packs Boreas's bed with ice, hoping to hold it together as it sleeps. The melting is at its worst then. Poor Snowchild. I don't know how to help you right now. Perhaps visiting the frozen north would freeze him again, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. It seems like there's a permanent fog cloud there, which is interesting. We're hurt. We should really be in bed. We can spend time in bed, which will heal a wound for a supply. Or we can tough it out. March around the deck shouting courageously. This will slightly reduce terror, but may occasionally injure us further. Well, I will sleep in a bed. We have supplies to spare right now. Or at least we would, if I hadn't had to waste them all. There we go. The sounds of the ship at sea, the toll of the watch bell, our eyes drift closed. We've lost a supply, but we've also lost a wound, which is good. I don't like having wounds. I don't like having wounds one bit. But yes, if we can make it back here to the Khan's Heart, then we have a successful trade route right here. A very successful one, in fact. Well, I think if we could make this trade run a couple times, barring the cost of the fuel making it very inefficient the first few runs. We could be making a ton of echoes in no time at all. In theory, we'd need 22 fuel, or a little bit over, and a little bit more than the 2 supplies they request, so maybe 5 supplies, which would put us at 27 items. Then we could pretty easily fill the rest of our hold with sunlight boxes, but it would make the journey all the way over here quite dangerous. Although, we could sell we could buy some more supplies while we were there. It's hard to say. Let us head into Khan's Heart. Enter the Nephrite Quarter. And buy ourselves 1, 2, 3 empty mirror catch boxes, I think. Why not? Why not try to make a profit here? Why not? Alright, well, that is an interesting option indeed. It's not magnificently valuable, but we've already gained 500 echoes from one trip. It'll cost a little bit more for the fuel, like we mentioned, but I think that's a reasonable way to make money. A reasonable way to make money indeed. So, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing a little bit more of Sunless Sea, and discovering the trade power of the surface. I think what we might do here is experiment a little bit with trade, but the problem with that is that if our little frozen friend is in trouble, I have no way to help them at this point, because we have no way to acquire the Scintillac we need. I haven't even seen anywhere that sells it. I think what we'll do quickly here, though, is head up to the neighboring city up north, the prison island, and see what it costs. Well, no, because we need to either do a ransom attempt or a breakout attempt there, and we can't afford that kind of thing right now. As much as I'd like to experiment, it just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense right now. Well, we'll see. I may do a few trade runs off-screen, and if our poor frozen friend doesn't make it, then that may just be the way of things. But we may make one journey here up to the north and try and leave him at the Avid Horizon. If we can leave him there while we try and find a cure, then maybe he won't die a horrible, ignoble death on the way. And that would be nice. The cost will be higher for all the traveling, but perhaps we'll be able to make it up. Either way, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing a little bit more Sunless Sea, experimenting with trade and worried for the lives of our companions. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye-bye.